Yo, what's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another reaction video. We got what actually happened to the 2020 NFL draft class. Let's check this out.
2020 was one of the most bizarre years in world history.
Heightened states of emergency across the nation as a number
With
of
COVID and
coronavirus
shit,
cases soars above 3,000.
2020 was, it seemed, bro, it's crazy that COVID started 4 years ago. Insane.
This is more serious than I thought it was.
And on top of that, of course, as always, we have the 2020 NFL draft. The top 10 picks of the 2020 NFL draft were poised on the edge of glory or failure.
Henry Ruggs, man.
This class of prospects stood as a testament to the unforgiving nature of professional football and the
Okudah.
draft. Two Hall of Fame quarterbacks meet shocking draft busts. This is what actually happened to the top 10 picks of the 2020 NFL draft.
Damn, man.
With the first pick,
Joe
the
Burrow.
2020 draft, the Cincinnati Bengals select Joe Burrow, quarterback, LSU.
Joe Burrow, quarterback, as a quick rhythm passer with outstanding poise, accuracy, and playmaking ability. Burrow plays like a pass-first point guard running a fast break in the open court with a knack for getting the ball to his playmakers in their sweet spots. But were they right about him?
That the one? I hope so.
I hope so. This nigga Kodak.
LSU, the Heisman Trophy winner, was lauded as a can't-miss prospect, and he has proven to be just that. He announced his arrival in the NFL by passing for 316 yards and 3 touchdowns in a closely fought loss to the Cleveland Browns.
Damn.
But sadly, any hopes
Yeah.
for Offensive Rookie of the Year
That torn
were
ACL was
dashed by a
crazy,
brutal
man.
ACL and MCL tear in his left knee in week 11. Like, I mean, this injury was just so
You can
brutal,
see his
it actually hurts
bone. You can
watching
see his
this.
bone,
It was
bro.
honestly a very devastating way for him to end his first
I know
year
that
in
shit
the
hurt
league,
like
but
hell.
it left Bengals fans very optimistic that they had a quarterback of the future on their hands. That optimism then went
Jamar
into
Chase.
overdrive when the Bengals drafted Jamar Chase, bringing together a lethal LSU combination. Burrow threw for 4,611 yards and 34
And they went to the
touchdowns,
Super Bowl that
Chase
year.
corralling 1,455 of those yards. With the duo lighting it up in the NFL, the Bengals made it to their first Super Bowl since 1988, but they unfortunately fell just short of glory after
Aaron
losing to
Donald.
the LA Rams. Burrow was awesome in his first full season, though, almost winning the team a Super Bowl and earning himself the Comeback Player of the Year award. They
Very
came
well
close
deserved.
again 1 year later in a season where Burrow threw for another 4,475 yards and 35 touchdowns. Before another injury-plagued season in 2023 limited Burrow to just
Like,
10
bro,
games.
watching this game, this is when they played us. Watching that, bro, I really felt bad for Bengals fans when seeing Joe Burrow like that.
For another injury-plagued
Like,
season
nigga
in
couldn't even throw the
2023
football.
limited Burrow to just 10 games.
Damn, we were already winning though, but I feel like there would have been more in the game if Burrow wouldn't have got hurt.
Overall selection will go down as a major hit, as Super Bowl success is surely not too far away, and honestly, I could see them making a big push to the Super Bowl as long as his wrist does remain healthy. Another apparent can't-miss prospect came off of the board with the
Chase
2nd overall selection,
Young.
with Washington drafting defensive end Chase Young.
He's got to stay healthy
Ron
too.
Rivera grabbed the best player in the draft
Like,
to fortify
his career has
line
been riddled
that
by
could
injury
feature
so
5
far.
former first-round picks.
Now he's on the
They said Young
Saints.
was a natural
Hopefully he
pass
can stay
rusher
healthy.
with A+ size, athleticism,
They got a great
first-step
defensive
quickness,
front though
and
with
technical
him,
skills.
Brian,
And the best part is that he gave them
Brian
a
Brzee,
Julius Peppers-like
Isaiah
playmaker at the
Foskey,
edge. But were they right about
Cam
him?
Jordan. No.
Many
Hell to the
considered Young to be
no.
the best
To the
player
no,
in the
no,
2020
no.
draft class, and it certainly looked like those people were right after his first season in the league. His rookie season got off to the best possible start after he produced
Yeah, he won
1.5
defensive-
sacks, 4 tackles,
defensive
and a
rookie of the
forced
year.
fumble against the Philadelphia Eagles. He continued to produce throughout the year, racking up a total of 7.5 sacks, 44 tackles, and 4
Damn.
forced fumbles. This was good enough for him to win the Defensive Rookie of the Year award. And honestly, all was looking good for the sophomore defensive end. But a sophomore slump turned into a nightmare when he suffered a gruesome ACL tear in week 10. He had produced only 1.5 sacks up to that point, with the injury bringing an end to a letdown year after such a positive start to his career. And honestly, the recovery process for Young was extremely tricky. The way he ended up tearing his ACL, he ended up needing a very complex reconstructive surgery, and this honestly made him miss a lot of the 2022 season as well. Young returned to health for the 2023 season, in which he posted 7.5 sacks and 25 tackles for a combination of the Commanders and the 49ers, who he was traded to after just 7 games. And I mean, honestly, when you look at the stats of Chase Young, it's been a little bit of a weird career for him.
Yeah,
After
for real, it
dazzling
really
as a
has.
rookie, he honestly has really underperformed.
I just hope he can ball out this season and get back to his old
it's tough
self.
to gloss over those brutal injuries that he has been ridden with. And honestly, who knows what he could have achieved if he hadn't had those injuries, and honestly what the future holds with him in New Orleans. But personally, I just don't really think when you take a defensive end 2 overall, that's what you want out of him.
With the third pick,
Jeff Okudah. Yeah, Jeff Okudah's been a huge bust so far.
Jeff Okudah, defensive back, Ohio State.
He's at his best in press coverage, but displays the footwork and movement skills to shadow from afar. But were they right about him?
Bro, this guy stinks.
And I mean, when you look at the team,
Yo, legendary meme right there, man.
The output has fallen well short of expectations. And similar to the 2 players that have came before him, honestly, injuries were a big part of Okudah's career too. He's only managed to play in 10 games across his first 2 seasons.
Damn, only 10 games?
String together some consistent playing time
Yo.
in his 3rd season with Detroit, but after producing just 1 interception and 7 passes defended, the Lions decided to cut ties with the former 3rd overall pick. It was quite the fall from grace for Okudah, who was traded to the Atlanta Falcons for just a 5th round pick. Any hopes of him redefining the magic that made him such a highly anticipated draft prospect were quickly dashed.
He's on the
as
Texans now, ain't he?
Impact in Atlanta, earning a PFF coverage grade of just 46 and failing to register an interception. He since then has changed teams again, signing with the Houston Texans for the 2024 season. But I mean, like, in totality, this one has to go down as a miss because he just really hasn't lived up to be anything. But again, maybe in Houston he can turn it around with Devin Singletary and that defense.
With the 4th pick in the 2020
Devin Singletary isn't even on the team anymore.
Giants select Andrew Thomas, tackle, Georgia.
Andrew Thomas, yeah, he top 5 tackle in the league though. 100%. He has really put it all together.
Off the edge. But how good was he really?
Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe yourself.
Thomas ended up being the first offensive lineman.
Yeah,
off
this
the board
nigga in
with
these
that
clips,
4th overall
bruh.
pick. And while Thomas only started 41 games at college, he entered the league as a 21-year-old, and his age certainly appeared to be a problem for him early. As a rookie, he did struggle, giving up 10 sacks against far older and more experienced defensive playmakers, but he made solid improvements as a sophomore. He's been a consistent starter for the Giants, peaking in a 2022 season where he logged 1,050 snaps across all 16
Nigga
starts
caught a
he had.
touchdown.
He's conceded just 7 sacks over the last 2 years combined. Like, I mean, that number is just astronomical. And
That's
on top
really
of this,
good. That's
he's
elite
only
level.
having 4 penalties in that time. Like, I mean, that's absolutely absurd. And don't get me wrong, this Giants offensive line struggled mightily in 2023, but they at least know that they have a talented left tackle in Andrew Thomas.
Evan Neal's got to get his shit together. Tua.
2020 NFL draft. The Miami Dolphins select Tua Tagovailoa.
He's been off and on too, bro.
Alabama.
Tagovailoa has a game that reminds some of a young Drew Brees with his accuracy, anticipation, and touch earning high mark. He is a franchise quarterback with the potential to elevate the play of others with his talent and leadership skills. And personally, I think Drew Brees might be a little bit of a stretch here, but how right were they?
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I didn't do fucking shit.
During the later stages of his college,
Yo, bro, these shits
most
is
likely player
funny.
to go number 1 overall, with the tank for Tua phrase doing the rounds during the 2019 NFL season. As it turns out, he drifted all the way to the 5th overall pick. And honestly, after a shaky start, it has been a little bit of an improvement for Tua as we've seen him grow in the NFL.
He just got to stop
But
turning the
personally,
ball
for me,
over.
I really still don't
Like,
think
the
he's
healthy
that
part
good
is really,
of a
like,
quarterback, and I
he
think that
stayed
if
healthy
he
last
had
year,
McDaniel,
but
And
turning the
Tyreek
ball
Hill,
over has definitely been a
really don't
big
think
factor
that
for
Tua would
him.
be a quarterback in the NFL. I think he would have already been out of the league. But as I digress, after passing for 1,814 yards and 11 touchdowns in 10 games as a rookie, his yards per attempt saw a significant boost following his sophomore season, thanks again mainly to the arrival of Tyreek Hill, who, as I said before, is one of the NFL's greatest wide receivers to play the position. With not only Tyreek Hill, but now Jalen Waddle to also aim at, he has made giant strides in his progression as a quarterback, averaging 8.6 yards per attempt over his last 2 seasons. Mike McDaniel as head coach has produced a lethal offense, helping Tua lead the NFL in passing.
And now they trying to get OBJ. It's going to be a nasty trio.
In the AFC. Their 27.9 points on average per game was the 3rd best in the NFL, but disappointing playoff performances have ended in the last 2 seasons on a sour note.
Is he the Dak Prescott of the AFC?
Strong playoff runs in 2024 to convince Miami that again he is the future of their franchise at the quarterback position, and to start proving some of the haters wrong.
Justin Herbert, hey. Justin Herbert has definitely been elite.
Justin Herbert, quarterback.
Just he's never really had an elite defense on the other side to really help him out, you feel me? And now this year, it's going to be very rough with their receiver position.
Accurate throws on the move. Playing in a play action scheme that creates huge voids in the intermediate range should help her.
They might run the ball a lot more this year because of Greg Roman being their offensive coordinator and them signing Gus Edwards.
Tied the 2 quarterbacks together throughout their young careers, with fans of the 2
and they got
constantly arguing
Jim
over
Harbaugh
who made
now,
the right
so
choice. And yes,
running the ball
while
might be
Miami
a
has
big
had
priority
more
for
wins
them.
in the recent years, I think personally that Justin Herbert is just far better a quarterback and just much more elite at that position than Tua. And
100%. And I'm an Alabama fan, so you know.
Spectacular rookie season.
Hey, Herbert has definitely been way better than Tua.
His 4,336 passing yards and 31 touchdowns quickly gave him top 10 quarterback.
He's got a rocket of an arm too, bro.
Record high 14,089 yards across his first 3 seasons. That status improved to a top 5 ranking in the NFL. And I mean, like, ever since he has stepped onto the field, Herbert has looked like an elite quarterback in the league. But I mean, when you have a lackluster coaching staff and an even worse wide receiver group than you did the year before, it just seems like they're wasting the kid's talent at this point.
Facts. And then they just signed him to a big 5-year extension too, so.
But it came amidst a backdrop of team drama that saw both the head coach and general manager get fired. Jim Harbaugh is the next man up to lead the Chargers, and he certainly brings an impressive resume with him. The only question is how much of an opportunity will Justin Herbert have to show off his talents in Harbaugh's run-heavy game plan?
And that's what I'm saying, bro.
Derrick Brown.
Derrick Brown, he's been really solid too.
Auburn.
The Panthers needed to fortify the interior of their defensive line with a disruptive force at defensive tackle. Brown is an absolute monster as an interior defender with A+ size, strength, and explosiveness. But just how dominant has he really been? Like, I mean, when you look at Brown, he is a colossal figure in the center of the Panthers defensive line, towering over people with his 6'5", 320-pound frame.
Damn.
Ever since he has been drafted, the Panthers have featured him exclusively on that defensive line. And like, yes, while he doesn't appear in the box score as often as you'd like to see, his impact is still seen on tape. It was a tough start to his career.
Damn, just tossing Alvin Kamara like that, bro.
2023 saw Brown register 103 total tackles, including 57 solo tackles, to go along with 2 sacks and a career-high 15 quarterback hits. And I mean, while the Panthers are looking to bounce back from what was a horrible season in 2023,
I don't think the Panthers can ever bounce back from that.
In the center of the Panthers defense,
they need to put more talent around Bryce Young. I know they did it with Deontay Johnson, but it's gonna need more than that. You have an old Adam Thielen, who's not like your typical wide receiver too. But they got Jonathan Mingo, so I guess that's not all bad. Isaiah Simmons. And he's still a free agent too.
Playmaker with impact potential as a
I wouldn't mind him coming to Baltimore.
Versus tight ends and
I ain't gonna lie to you.
It will be interesting to see how the Cardinals use a multi-dimensional player with a raw set of skills and versatility. Were they right?
I
And now look, while number 8 is a relatively high pick to take a linebacker, Simmons enthralled scouts with his versatility as a skill set and impressive athleticism. I mean, when this guy was coming out of college, he
Hybrid
lined up on the
linebacker,
defensive
safety.
line in the slot and at linebacker over his young career, making it difficult for him to really nail down any level of consistency. As a sophomore in the league though, Simmons collected a very useful 81 solo tackles, 7 passes defended, and 4 forced fumbles, but he wasn't able to convert it into an established role. After one more year with the Cardinals, he was traded to the New York Giants prior to the 2023 seasons, which tells you all you need to know about Arizona's opinion on their top 10 pick. And while in New York, Simmons has only played 378 snaps, registering 1 sack, 30 tackles, an interception, and 2 pass breakups. And to be fair, there is talent there, but it's fair to say that Simmons has underwhelmed given his draft pedigree. It's gonna be really interesting.
He just needs to be in the right scheme.
As a Giant.
With the 9th pick in the 2020 NFL Draft,
Is that Kyrie?
Jaguars select C.J. Henderson.
Oh, CJ Henderson. Yeah, CJ Henderson's a big
Henderson
bust.
flashes natural
Yeah.
instincts, awareness, and ball
Huge
skills and
bust.
coverage, and is efficient in man and
Think
zone
he's a
coverage.
Panther now.
Tackling was an issue, but he is arguably the best cornerback in the class. Were they right?
Is that guy?
And as I just said in that draft,
Yo.
when he came out with that pick, the only reason that many people were high on CJ Anderson was because of his speed and his athleticism coming out of college. Like, the dude looked like a freak of nature at the cornerback position out of Florida. He really did appear to be that all-around corner, but in reality, he was honestly so far from it. It was insane. Henderson struggled from the outset and never made any improvements, earning a 58.3 coverage grade as a
gosh.
rookie before not topping 50 in his 3 seasons since. He has conceded a passer rating of over 150.
Bro, this nigga he think he's still in college, bro. This nigga thought he was still in college.
Every season
Oh
he's played,
shit.
registering just 3 interceptions and has given up 1,680 yards. Like, I mean, this dude was horrible as a top 10 pick for the Jags. Like, I mean, this goes down as a massive loss for the Jags, but they actually did end up recuperating some of it by getting a 3rd-round pick out of the Panthers when they traded them to him. But I mean, it got even worse in Carolina. Like, the dude was horrible in Carolina. So, I mean, it was definitely right for the Jags to trade him while they could. And rounding out the top 10 of the 2020
Jedric Williams, he's been really good
offensive
too.
tackle Jedric Williams
Roll
was selected
Tide.
by the Cleveland Browns. The Browns added a bully to the offensive line with the size, strength, and power to maul defenders in the run game while stalemating pass rushers off of the edge. But were they right about him?
What do you think?
And I mean, to be
What do
fair,
you
Willis
think?
had the unfortunate task of filling the shoes of Hall of Fame left tackle Joe Thomas, and it really wasn't the smoothest of transitions. And I mean, in reality, he did fall a little bit short, but he wasn't like terrible, but he also wasn't great for the Browns. He did fall short of those qualities that you did love to have in Joe Thomas off the left side, anchoring down the left tackle position. But there are far bigger problems for that left side of the line than him. Like, I mean, with left tackle being one of the most important positions in the game, being a solid player is enough to keep Willis in the league for a long time. Verified by the fact that Cleveland were willing to pick up his 5th-year option. Like, I mean, when you look at his stats, honestly, he's like right in the middle of the road. He hasn't given up more than 6 sacks in a season, but at the same time, he also hasn't given up more or less than 3 at the same time. Like, I mean, this dude at best is above average, and when you're taking a tackle inside the top 10 of the draft, you're really not looking for above average. You want like superstar talent in one of these picks, but it's the Browns. They're notorious for taking average talent inside the top 10. But I mean, all in all, the top 10 from this draft,
He's got a point
was
about
what
that.
you expected to be, besides the fact that you did get some Hall of Famers inside of Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert. Like, those guys are going to be legit Hall of Famers by the end of their careers, I do think. But at the same time, also your fair share of misses in the form of Jeff Okudah and CJ Henderson. But one position that wasn't really addressed inside the top 10, but ended up being a huge part of this first round of draft picks, was the wide receiver position, where 6 were taken inside the first round. Henry Ruggs and Jalen Reagor have gone down in infamy for different reasons, but the other wide receivers taken around them,
Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb.
2020 class. CeeDee Lamb.
I still don't understand how the Eagles passed up on Justin Jefferson. That's insane.
Best wide receivers in the NFL, with 5 All-Pro selections between them. Like, I mean, that's absolutely absurd that those guys were taken that low in the draft. Like, Some of these teams have to be absolutely kicking themselves that they took guys like
Eagles.
CJ Henderson instead of Justin Jefferson. But with that being said, there's an absolute masterclass of wide receivers coming in this year with Malik Neighbors and Marvin Harrison Jr. in this year's draft class. And I want to know what you guys think. Do you think any of those guys that are coming out this year can rival the likes of Justin Jefferson or
100%.
Let me know down in the comment section below. And as always, I will catch you guys in the next one.
Hey man, hey, who do you think, you know what I'm saying, was the biggest draft bust from that first round class, man? Let me know down in the comments below. But that's gonna do it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe to the channel. If you're new, turn on my post notifications to get notified whenever I drop another banger video. And without further ado, I'm out. Dang.